Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a good one for you today. Central banks are coming for crypto, but maybe not in the way that you thought about it before. We're going to discuss it. The Fed, ECB, Hong Kong, India, China Central Bank, United Arab Emirates, and the BIS, all speaking on central bank digital currencies and all talking about Bitcoin too. Let's just go ahead and roll this beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackUpBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here today. Let's go ahead and get started because right now it's 1.52 trillion plus with the cryptocurrency market cap collectively. Bitcoin dancing back and forth between $49,000 and $50,000 this morning. XRP is really having trouble this morning at 47 cents, falling a little bit, was at 49. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and get into this. We have a lot to talk about, and I think you're going to want every bit of this. It really leans what we're going to talk about today into forward looking and what this space may look like, this digital asset cryptocurrency space. What will it look like? I think we're going to get a bit of an idea with the discussion today. Let's get started. Michael Val 5link says exchange demands users return Bitcoin bought for $6,000 during a tech glitch. Oopsies. Exchange demands that users return Bitcoin bought for $6,000 during a tech glitch. Users who purchased a BTC at an 88% discount from PDAX were asked to refund the exchange or risk legal action. Good luck. Yeah, that's not going to go so well. Michael Val 5 links again, $18.5 million settlement of a $1 trillion plus lawsuit? Question mark. A 2-year legal court battle has finally come to a conclusion, with Bitfinex and Tether paying the settlement, thereby putting this matter behind. Well, RJ Gonzalez, I think, lays it down best here. First, I want to make a correction. I originally reported on this. I went back and looked this morning. I did say originally covering this, the Attorney General of the state of New York, but I had somewhere along the line got turned around and thought that it was the federal government suing Tether and Bitfinex, but that was not the case. It was a New York Attorney General, state of New York, that was suing them. And I need to clarify that because of what RJ Gonzalez makes a statement saying, so you say it's not going to be that easy. Wait for DOJ to pick it up. Well, if the Department of Justice does pick this up, this conversation is not over by a long shot. So we will see. But to the point that is being made here by Michael Val 5 links, a $1.4 trillion lawsuit that's now being settled quietly at $18.5 million. There's a huge disparity there. And if you go back and look at the early postings from the Attorney General on the Tether case with Bitfinex, it is scathing. And the things that they publicly put out are really leave a lot of questions more than answers about how we get to an $18.5 million settlement with Tether. But then again, maybe it really does answer the question if the Department of Justice is going to pick it up from a federal level. So just being clear, that was a New York Attorney General's office that settled this case. We don't yet know if the federal government's going to step in and pick up the baton. We'll keep an eye on that. Now, with that being said, some of the fallout here is New York bans Tether, Bitfinex over false statements about dollar backing and losses. There are some fallout here, right? So let's keep going. Then we see quickly after this settlement, what do we see? Well, Tether's right back at it again. They've printed and minted $5 billion worth of USD Tether. Here it comes again. That didn't take long now, did it? Now, here we go. Let's look at some of the attitude of big billionaire investors and then move into the central banks here about Bitcoin. And this is not a smear campaign here, okay? I actually have Bitcoin in my portfolio, but it doesn't mean I'm not afraid to look at the hurdles that are in front of that asset. Just like the high gas fees, I'm willing to look at those hurdles and my position that I have in Ethereum and what trouble the Ethereum has going into the future on that. Just like I have to be very real every day and look at the hurdle of the SEC versus Ripple alleging an unregistered security of XRP. We're just looking at these things. So, don't send the hate mail. But that's my disclaimer for the day here. And I'm not a financial advisor. So here we see that Rakesh Unumwala says that he would never buy Bitcoin, calls for a ban of Bitcoin. Rakesh believes Bitcoin is purely speculative asset with no real use. Well said. Excuse me. It does have value that you can use it to transact. It's expensive and it's slow comparatively to the things that are out here today, right? So we will see, and Bitcoin's volatility already rules it out as a payment method. It's really true. And until they get that under control, it will always be an issue for payments. So that's why it's retreated from a payment method and a so-called quote-unquote currency into now looked at as a store of value or digital gold, as people say. All right, looking right here, we have another one. This is a Hall of Famer from the first ever meetup. XRP Carolina. I hope you and your family are well, my friend. And this goes out to I Am Legion as well, who originally shared this post. A bright future without Bitcoin. The central banks want Bitcoin gone. They have a money printing machine. BIS. Only a matter of time for a 51% attack occurs. You do the math. Look at this right here. This is from January 27th, 2021. This is maybe just short of a month old, right? The chief banker at the Bank of Central Banks, Augustin Carstens, cast doubt on Bitcoin's long-term viability Wednesday, saying it's only a matter of time before a 51% attack brings down the world's original cryptocurrency. Frightening, if you don't mind looking at it for what it is. I mean, the BIS is the central bank of central banks. 70% of central banks, by the way, are exploring central bank digital currencies. Let's get into this a second here. They're exploring central bank digital currencies according to the BIS. Now, that is a large number of the total sum of central banks. Now, look at this next little few panels of news here, and we're going to get into this. The Reserve Bank of India is concerned about cryptocurrencies, but is working on the digital rupee. Very good. We'll see where that goes. China's central bank, PBOC, is now exploring a digital currency cross-border project in collaboration with central banks of Thailand, Hong Kong, and the United Arab Emirates. Okay, this just got even bigger for China. We know that they've been out front in the CBDC race. Why is it a race? Why is it a race? Don't believe it, it's still true, but it's not just about becoming the on and off ramps for crypto as a reliable digital dollar stablecoin. Yes, that is the face value point. But make no mistake about this, it's about power and control to remain relevant as a central bank. By embracing and controlling the on and off ramps, they have control of tracking every single transaction of what you and I do with whatever cryptocurrency we buy. Central banks understand that they need to have regulation and things to be regulated in a way that can never have cryptocurrency challenge the sovereign currencies of the world, so they can remain relevant, in control, and powerful. They will not be outdone, so you better get ready. And my point is to this is that when you look forward in what this space looks like 6 months, a year, 3 years from now, is there going to be a Tether? I don't know. It's live to fight another day today. And I hope that they're able to get themselves in compliance and with regulators and remain. We know that there's other public-private relationships, the USD coin with Circle, right? We know that they've recently launched and joined together with the Stellar Network. We know that USD Coin is from Circle is also working in conjunction with the U.S. government to provide funding down in Venezuela. Yeah, don't believe that. It's still true. All of this is really leaning in heavily to what this space will look like in the future. And I don't think the future is that far away, but let's go ahead and look at this right here. European Central Bank has demanded veto power from lawmakers in the European Union over private stablecoin projects like Diem. Uh-oh, Facebook's little fancy coin still got a bullseye on its back. Stablecoin issuers must comply with the same robust liquidity requirements as banks and financial institutions. Well, it looks like changing the name didn't take the bullseye off the back, right? So whether you Libra or whether you Diem, the European Central Bank is really put themselves in a place where they said, look, we got to have veto power from lawmakers in this. We got to know that we're going to remain in control and that we're not going to cede. If this doesn't speak to you about the central banks moving in and becoming the on and off ramps to this space, giving you the legitimacy, as they will say, and the freedom to move about in this space, knowing that your money is safe because you have the on and off ramp of the central bank dollars. You can see the conversation and narrative being pounded out. Here, according to Powell, the digital dollar project is an important issue for the central bank, but it's progressing gradually. Well, that doesn't line up at all with the president of the Federal Reserve out of Boston, who said it's not as far off as people say. I'm paraphrasing, but it's what he said. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if 70%, and we know that ultimately is going to be 100% if they want to remain relevant, because it's obvious that we are moving into a digital world. Everything will be tokenized. There will be new payment rails. Obviously, I believe XRP and the XRP ledger will be a part of this. I've said it many times on this channel. I don't believe XRP is just a digital asset. I believe it is a digital asset that will be a part of the framework of the entire digital asset space. I still believe that today. And I also believe that if you look at what we're talking about with this conversation about developing CBDCs for relevance, power, control, that's what these things really come down to, like it or not. But the central banks are smart enough to understand something. If we're going to digitize and tokenize everything, why do I want to hold central bank B's dollar if I'm central bank A? Same goes for central bank D and so forth and so on and so on. They don't. And that's where I believe this rule that came effective last July 21st, 2020, with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is set up on page 38 to describe that it is an effective amended rule, and I guess we're waiting for the clarity of the courts and the SEC and any other regulators that need to weigh in. They have already amended the rule with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is an enforcement agency, that Swift's GPI innovation and tracking product and Ripple and XRP can be used to affect settlement of those transfers when it comes to cross-border payments and banks and credit unions, which offer both payments and messaging platform support for, as well as a priority of virtual currency XRP, which can be used to affect settlement of those transfers. This development suggests that in the future there may be means by which banks and credit unions could reduce their remaining reliance on estimates. This is about transparency before you accept the cross-border payment and understand what rail it's going to be on, what's the path of it, how much it's going to cost me, and the sender and receiver both see the information. So, with that being said, it looks like to me that we know, if you haven't seen the video from this morning, I highly suggest you watch it, about Ripple on a roadmap to becoming a bank, knowing that they have just applied for a business license in Wyoming, and knowing that Kraken and other entities have gone to Wyoming to get a banking license. It looks, and we'll make the video if we're wrong, but it certainly does appear, and I'm leaning in and have been for months. I'm leaning in heavily that Ripple will, in fact, apply for a banking license or some licensure, whether they end up being a special purpose depository institution, however it goes, that allows them to work with the banks and credit unions as well as any entity in cross-border payments. This is what it looks like to me. And if you really start to roll this out 6 months, a year, 3 years from now, what I'm showing you, I believe, is what this space is going to look like. You will get a digital dollar, and then you will buy the crypto you want, or you'll go in and you'll buy the crypto you want. And when you want to cash out, or the merchant wants to allow you to use your crypto to pay them, they're going to get the digital dollar they want, whether it's a yen, whether it's a pound, whether it's the US dollar, or whatever it is. But this, to me, looks like what's taken shape. Now, finally, I do want to remind you, I'm saying all this while it's 47 cents. And I believe every bit of it. You don't have to, but I do. And along with that point, over the past 12 hours, Ripple and its major ODL platform, knowing that MoneyGram has suspended its working with the ODL platform, and the U.S. trading giant Coinbase have transferred an amount close to 290 million XRP. How about them apples? What'd they do that for? Because we don't have a deal? Because we're not close to a settlement? I'd say business is pretty good if you're moving around 290 million XRP or so, 287.2 million to be exact, right? It's EU ODL partner and Coinbase. Now, here is the article itself, and there's not a lot to glean outside of this other than it's saying that they were moved. And you just have to wonder if you're looking at Ripple transfer 30 million from its wallet to Bitstamp Exchange, which also is an on-demand liquidity platform that operates in Europe and is located in Luxembourg. Largest transaction here was conducted by Coinbase as the top-tier San Francisco-based exchange shifted 158 million plus tokens between its wallets. One has to wonder, what are we moving all of that around for? Unless we're headed to that picture that looks like the CBDCs being launched, the eventual bank charter maybe in Wyoming following the business license that they've just attained, and knowing full well that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has really already made the effective rule amended that Ripple and XRP could be used to effect settlement for banks and credit unions for cross-border transactions. The way I see it, central banks are coming for this crypto space, and they're doing it in a manner that allows them to stay in control and have power and remain relevant. That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Make sure you share with somebody you know and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. By the way, update. Cryptonaires the film has been picked up. I cannot say more than that other than the fact that each and every one of you will be able to see the film for free. That is pretty remarkable, and I can't wait for each of you to see it. And by the way, Gene Simmons from KISS is going to be in this film. If you haven't gotten on the newsletter, make sure you join that too. There'll be another one coming out soon. You're not going to want to miss what's in it. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch all of you on the next one.